Hi everyone, this is Garan, welcome back to my channel. Today I got something very particular for you because we're going to talk about this device that we had the chance to put our hands on a couple weeks ago at the Dead Studios in Verona. This device is the MK Ultra by Genesi EFX, which is a manufacturer based here in Italy that makes this very particular device that is an hybrid between analog and digital technology. So you can think about it like basically a Kemper, but where all the amp simulation and saturation stage is made all by tubes, so in the analog domain, and it is very particular. So basically, for my understanding, how they managed to do it is just by shaping the behavior of the preamp tubes in order to emulate the frequency response of the amp that you want to capture, and it's really interesting. It also has a power section with four very big tubes. I don't remember which tubes they are, but they were something very particular. The preamp tubes were 12AX7, and then it has the digital side of it, which is for the effects, which are really good. Overdrive, compressor and noise gate, all that kind of stuff. It's a really interesting product. So basically it works just like a Kemper. You send a signal through an amp and you record it through a microphone, and you have a snapshot of the amp you want to capture, and then you can play through it. But again, all the amp side of this thing is analog, is made by real tubes, so it's really interesting. So of course the aim is to go as close as possible to the amp you want to capture, and I must say it goes really close, even though it's not always perfect and it can suffer in some situations, but in general it works quite well. And to demonstrate it, we're gonna do a little A/B comparison. But first, let me tell you about what we did a couple weeks ago in Dead Studios. So basically, the two guys of Genesi EFX came to the studio and brought their little unit, and we managed to bring in the studio a couple heads. We had a classic PV 6505 and a Blackstar HT50 Mark I, the first version. And we made some captures with these amps, like some leads, some crunch, overdrive rhythms, and some cleans. If you want to hear them, we also made a video in the Dead Studios channel where I played through these profiles and you can hear how they sound. But for our test, we are just gonna focus on the 6505 main rhythm medal capture. So we made the reamp through the real amp and through the MK Ultra. So we're gonna do the real amp in the mix, then the MK Ultra in the mix, and then I'm gonna play them on their own without the instruments and switch between them so you can hear the difference. So, what do you think? I was really surprised about the results, and I think that it's really impressive that a small manufacturer like this can achieve such a result. But I think it's comparable to what Kemper is doing in terms of quality and how the sound is close to the real deal. That said, I think because of the very similar conception of these products in relations to the Kemper, it makes sense to make a little comparison between the two and figure out the pros and the cons of this unit in relationship to the Kemper. First of all, they are very similar also in terms of operativity, because basically this device has the same capabilities of the Kemper. It has the amp section, and then you have 4 blocks before for compression, noise gates and overdrives and stuff, and 4 blocks after the amp. Also, the capture process is practically the same as the Kemper, which, you know, it sends those sounds through the amp and captures it, and then it also has the refine option where you strum some chords and it refines. And yes, you can really see the inspiration of the Kemper. But anyway, this unit is even smaller, so it's more portable. It's not that heavy, which is very good. For example, my Kemper has become very heavy when I paired it with the dual channel power amp, because I don't have a powered Kemper, so it's really heavy, and this MK Ultra could really have an advantage in these terms against the Kemper. But then you have the fact that this unit basically operates his simulations and tone processing with tubes, which to someone could be a selling point, but I wasn't able to see this fact as an advantage in comparison to the Kemper. I mean, the Kemper gets really close to the amp that you want to simulate, so I don't really feel the need of having the simulation made by some tubes on analog circuits. Also, the MK Ultra is a little less versatile than the Kemper in terms of connectivity. It has less outputs. You have a MIDI in, but you don't have a MIDI out or through, which sometimes can be handy. In general, you have less possibility in terms of routing, which for some people, me included, is very often really important. But in general, I think that this is a product that needs to grow a little more. When people are gonna think about it, they're gonna think about the Kemper, and the Kemper has, I think, some advantages in comparison to it. It has a complete ecosystem built around it, made of profiles, both free, both paid. It has a lot of effects, pedal simulations, and all sorts of stuff which are implemented in a very basic way in this MK Ultra. So I think as it is now, it needs to grow a little bit. It needs to be at least as competitive as the Kemper. It needs to have basically all that it has and even something more, in my opinion. So I really hope that this product can grow in the future. I really hope that they can expand and make it a more complete product that could compete in the modern market of the guitar player, because as you know, it's really busy out there with fractals and helix and Kempers and the quad cortex, which is stunning. So you really have to be up there if you want to compete. And I honestly wish them the best. And I hope to see them up there with these brands. That said, let me know what you think. I'd really enjoyed the making these profiles with them. It's been a real pleasure. We had a lot of fun. It's always nice to try some gear, so I'm really grateful for that. And I hope to see the guys sooner or later in some other occasions. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you next time.